Okay, now using cost. Countries, two goods, two factors, A and B, X and Y, K and L. So the difference between the two countries in the shape of this production possibilities frontier. Possibility production. The difference, look at the shape. And this shape we will learn is caused by a number of factors. Number one, endowment. Resource endowment. And this is shareholding. Other factors will be technology, and the rest. Technology, taste. This another one. So only this one, number one, shareholding. So what I'm saying is that the difference between the two countries can be because of taste, because of technology, or because of endowment. What is given? God gives this country like this. Endowment, resource endowment. So we're going to study this. When we study number 2, number 3, we assume this one is always, economics will study the model ceteris paribus. I wonder why they take the Latin ceteris paribus. Assume everything else the same. In French, what is in French? We assume everything the same, so only the difference is taste. When we study technology, we assume the rest is all the same taste, same resource endowment, but except technology not the same. So ceteris paribus. So 2 by 2. Can I hang here? Very busy. The busiest person. Okay. Concave. Production possibilities frontier, concave, outside. And it's not straight line, it's concave. Both outside toward the
outside. Inputs are imperfect substitute for each other. K is suitable for factories, not suitable for farming. K capital. Labor suitable for farming, but not suitable for factories. So inputs not perfect substitute of each other. MRT rises. Why? Because MRT, what is MRT? Tangent line. What I call tangent line? Tangent line is a kissing line. Kissing there. So as you move to the right, for example here, the gradient increases. The gradient increases. Here low gradient, higher gradient. So opportunity cost, op cost get higher as you move to the right. So that's why increasing cost. You follow me now? So for this one, absolute slope of the production positivity schedule, the absolute, because it's negative. We're not interested in the negative number. The absolute is increasing. Oh. There's so many little things. Now it works. I have to take out this from here and put inside there. Okay. Y is cut off. Yeah. So that's why it is. Increasing opportunity cost leads to a production process schedule that is concave. Viewed from the diagram origin, marginal rate of transformation equals the absolute slope at a particular point. At a particular point, we cannot know ahead what is the opportunity cost except at a particular line. Here, no. You see did I say at a particular line, at a particular point? Sometimes happen to me, I want apple, I say orange. Did I say orange? I want an apple juice. That happens. So at a particular point. Here, where is it? Particular point. Because it's not a straight line. Straight line, no problem. Straight line, constant cost, no matter what point. Do you understand now? Why? Why does it happen that way? Where's my... This is my... Where's my pen drive? Do you see my pen drive? Okay. Now it's okay. I'm using from the file. Or maybe my pen drive was taken out. That's what happened. By mistake, because I always have anything will have this. I cannot live without ring. As you get older, my pen drive also with this. So I must have taken out by mistake. So, and one country specializes in producing one good, and the other country will produce it in the other goods. And the other country specialization continues until both nations, until relative cost will be the same. And this is before trade. So before trade, they will specialize. We know from this, country A has comparative advantage in production of X. We know from this PPE, because it's going that way, it is, you take any point, for example here, middle point, and this kissing line. Compare with this one, middle point, the kissing line. Low opportunity cost for production of X, high opportunity cost for production of X. Because it's very steep. So we know from hexaolene, we're going to study that A specializes in X, B, country B specializes in production of Y. So they will specialize, move to the right. For country A, for country B, this beginning, okay. For country B specialized in production of Y, move. So they move. Until finally, they will have the agreed trading terms. We call it terms of trade. Terms of trade for world trade. TOT. Suppose yes. And this is the same. Even though I may not draw parallel, they are parallel, the same. Parallel. What is parallel? Like that one. So, until relative cost of one good is identical in both nations, identical. That's the TOT, terms of trade, trading line. One country's export of one good are precisely equal the other country's imports of the good, same domestic rates of transformation will become. So that's what it is. With increasing cost, opportunity cost, comparative product prices in each country are determined by both supply and demand. Both by supply and demand. Unlike supply side only. The Ricardian model, only supply side, not demand side, supply side only. Describe the outer limits. So that's why we need this reciprocal demand, and there's in another course, I don't want to teach it. Another economist, criticizes Ricardian model because on the supply side only. We need both sides. So now, we don't want to get into that. No time. So let's get back to, yes. Now, are determined by both supply and demand factors. Unlike the Ricardian model, 2 by 2 by 1, Smith and Ricardo, determined by only by the supply side. Now, both sides, supply and demand factors. A country tends to partially specialize. This is partial specialization, partial, not complete all the way to the end, not complete all the way to the end, unlike the constant cost. Complete specialization, okay? And then the trading line. And C, somewhere there, C. Our south side. So, partial. Under the increasing cost condition. So if you begin, I wish I had, I'm taller. I can go describe that by my hand. So we begin with starting point for country, United States. Yeah, A starting point. For Canada, B, A prime is the starting point. So the starting point is before trade. Before trade. That's the production positivity frontier. Production positivity frontier and the casing line. This is the opportunity cost before trading. Very low opportunity cost for producing auto. Very steep. This. Very steep. 1A, 3 auto must be sacrificed in terms of production. This one, yeah. Only 0.33, did I say auto? Wheat, sacrifice 3 wheats. 0.33, not even 1 wheat must be sacrificed in this. So, country, Canada must specialize in wheat. USA specialize in automobile. So, specialize, move to the right. Increase the production of more autos, but you must reduce production of wheat going down. So this is the, until you get to this point, equalized. This become equalized. This one decrease the auto because specialized in wheat, increase more wheat production, decrease auto, and to this point where they agree, this is the trading line. They agree the price. This is the same line. TOT. TOT. I say TOT, terms of trade. Terms of trade. Terms of trade becomes same price. I'm not saying same price here. Same price in Canada, 1A equals 1 wheat. In United States also, 1A auto equals 1 wheat. So, by definition, all over the world, the same price. In Burkina Faso, in Tokyo, in France, in Germany, anywhere in the world, same price. That's the beauty of international trade, free trade. Well, of course, reality is not the same because trade is not really free. There are tariffs and other transportation costs. We assume no transportation cost. So it's a model, right? Why we use model? To make it easier to understand complicated things. So make it simple, we use a model. And then, so from this, do you see this in 17th edition? This graph? Yes. Oh, you have. So now we want to identify the trade triangle. This is already trading, okay? The beauty of international trade. What you could not use or consume before, this, look at this. Before trade, what you produce is what you consume. United States can only produce 5. Auto can only consume 5 auto. Produces only 18 wheat, can only consume 18 wheat. Look now, United States can consume 5 auto the same. That's why the bottom line for me, I should not put the oh yeah, yeah. Now this is the trading line. The specialization point we trade. That was before trade. That was before trade here. Look at this. Outside. Consumption, what you could not consume before, now you can consume. That's the beauty of the other theory, marriage theory. That's why I insist it's the same. So, look at now. United States can consume 5 auto by specializing and export. Consume, produce, this is production specialization. So produce 12 auto, but consume only 5. This is 7 is export to Canada. 7 export. So 5. And at the same time, can import. Produce only 14, but can consume more wheat. Oh, 21. Produce only 14 now. So don't forget, this is A is the before trade. If I can make a dot there, with my pen, A is before trade. And now, after trade, or with trade, specialization point, B. Produce only 14 wheat, but consume 21 wheat. So this import of how many? 7. 7 wheat, no more battery. This is import. So I was going to say about bottom line, I would not, draw the consumption point here. In fact, you can put the C point. No more battery. The thing is, it's not ordinary battery. It's very small. AAA, not easy to get. point C, point C, I would not put here because I don't want to get lower than previously. Previously, I can use 5 automobile. I don't want to sacrifice myself to use 3. I want to at least at the bottom line here. Do you understand now? At least 5. But for the wheat, doesn't matter for me. I want as much as possible. But for me, the auto, the same as before. Before trade is 5. So that's why the point C over there. Same. So now, this is the trading triangle. Export of automobile, import of wheat. Trading triangle for United States. Let's go to Canada. I think it's 10 degrees now. I was in Canada for about 3 years. So 5 months on the ground is white. Under the tree, of course, under the tree. It's white from the snow, never goes away. And the coldest, not the coldest, colder than Korea. If you say Korea is cold, Canada is colder. So now, this is original before trade for Canada. Specialization, increased production of wheat to this point. From 6 to 13, this is specialization. And reduce production of auto. One thing that I must mention, in order to draw the C, this is very important concept. In order to put where the C is, it must be on the red line. Must be on the red line. If I can draw that one, red. If I can draw this one, red, that's red line. This is red line. Okay? Must be on red line. And the specialization must be on the black line, which is the production possibility frontier. Here, blue line. Okay? Must be, cannot. You must specialize on the point, on the production possibilities frontier. Anywhere. Must be on that. The specialization, which is the B and the B prime for Canada. Do you understand now? Very important concept. Or in other way, I want to say, in order for you to put the C, consumption, has to be on the red line. In other way, I want to say, in order to draw a red line, yes, that's better. In order for you to draw red line, it must begin on the blue line at a new point. In order for me to draw a red line, which is TOT, I must draw this on the blue line. And number one. Number two, in order for me to put the C, it must be on the red line. I begin from number one. In order for me to draw the B there, must be on the blue. This is A. In order for me to put where B must be on the blue line. Do you follow me? That's number one concept, okay? And then once I get that point of specialization, which is B, Now I can draw the red line. I'm just repeating the concept, okay? You don't have to remember. I'm not going to ask in the exam. Okay, in the exam, in order to draw B line, what you have to do first? No exam like that. This is for you to know the concept. Now, once you have the red line, you can put the C, which is clearly outside of the production possibilities frontier. That's the beauty of international trade. And then now, I'm going there again because I forgot to emphasize the concept to you. Now, finish with the concept. Let's go to trade triangle for Canada. Canada now consume here, which is 6. Again, bottom line, 6. I will not draw C here because for me as Canadian, if I were a Canadian, I will not want to consume 5. I want to consume at least like before trading, 6. So not here, but here is bottom line. So produce 13, consume only 6. So 7 is exported to Canada, which is to USA. This is 7 export. There. In terms of automobile, produce only 13, but consume 20. So 13, 4, 7. So 7 is imported. This is imported from USA. Import from USA. So this is the trade triangle for Canada. Clear? Good, let's move on. And I already mentioned to you this. This is the TOT, same price anywhere in the world. So production gain more of each good is being produced. Consumption gain, both countries consume more of at least one good. At least, you know. Cannot be smaller than before. That's the bottom line that I mentioned. Third triangle import in terms of trade. This. Connecting between export, import, and TOT. TOT, terms of trade, I put O there. TT, I put O. TOT. Same for both countries. So this is before trade. 5.8 production total of the world. We trade, specialized, production 12, less of wheat. Canada, more production of wheat than before. So all this, the difference, net gain. So you compare this here. Wheat, auto, now, so 7 increase of 7. Wheat before, now, -4. Okay, clear, right? Easier, you understand now? Yeah. So consumption gain, so this is the world. Before, this is the same, what you consume, what you produce is what you consume in the world also. So after trade, consumption of 5. After trade, consumption of 21, 3 gain for the consumption of wheat. After trade, 20, consume 20, which is compared with 17, 3 more, and 6 and 6, no change. But here, this is the most important thing. Yeah, I can reach it. Increase, at least in one good. That's the beauty of international trade. That's the beauty of free trade. And as a result, the world also benefit. 3 more automobile consumed in the world, 3 more wheat consumed in the world. So And any question? Clear, right? So partial specialization. Each country specializes partially in the production of goods in which it has comparative advantage. Mechanism that forces costs into trading nations to converge. Basis for further specialization. No more. Once you get to this point what? Point specialization. Once you get to this point, B and B prime ceases to exist. So they trade there. So further specialization ceases to exist. Both nations will produce some of each good. Not all goods and services are traded internationally. Different tastes for products. Most products are differentiated. Extent to which an economy is open. Okay, now discussion. Finish with the theory. Now discussion. Impact of trade on jobs. Extent to which an economy is open influences the mix of jobs within an economy, can cause dislocation in certain areas. And so what it says that with trading, some companies will gain, some companies will lose. Which companies lose? Companies that are not in conformance with comparative advantage. Suppose a country like United States has a lot of capital. If you insist on producing goods using labor, you're going to go bankrupt because you're going to pay high cost of labor in the United States. So you should not be, opening a factory that uses a lot of labor. You must use capital. Because according to the theory of comparative advantage, the United States has comparative advantage in capital-intensive industries. So who will lose? Labor-intensive industries will go bankrupt or will close. So can cause dislocation, little effect on the overall employment. Because more companies are opening. Which companies? Which type? Capital intensive. Opposite for China. Opposite for Vietnam. Opposite for Cambodia. Labor, so many labor in Cambodia. If you're trying to open factories, using capital, you will not make money in Cambodia. You must open factories that use labor. Do you understand now? Yeah. So, increased international trade tends to neither inhibit overall job creation or contribute to an increase in the overall rate of employment. As in the figure, increasing U.S. imports as a percentage of GDP over the past several decades has not led to any significant trend in the overall employment for Americans. So look at this. Imports increase as share of GDP, but unemployment is not really, so no impact on employment. So people think that you import will lose job for your people in the country. No. Look at the graph. Because international trade, imports and export. You export, you import. You export what you have, the products that you can produce efficiently. But you import products that you cannot produce efficiently. Do you understand now? That way, you save your resources, your factors. Imports what you cannot produce. Export what you can produce efficiently. More than 2 products. Comparative advantage extended to many products and countries. Comparative advantage rank the goods by the degree of comparative cost. Each country exports the products that has the greatest comparative advantage. Each country imports the products that has greatest comparative disadvantage. Cut-off point between export and imports is the relative strength of the international demand. So this hypothetical spectrum between Japan and United States. U.S. comparative advantage in chemicals, jet planes, computers was Japanese. In semiconductors, when a large number of goods is produced by 2 countries, operations of the comparative advantage principle requires the goods to be ranked by the degree of comparative cost. Each country exports the products in which its comparative advantage is the strongest. So United States exports chemical, Japan exports steel and semiconductors in electronics. More than 2 countries, multilateral. Just now more than 2 goods, now more than 2 countries. Bilateral balance should not pertain to any 2 trading partners. Trade surplus or trade deficit with trading partners that buy a lot of the things that is supplied at low cost, with trading partners that are low cost supplier. So this is example. When many countries are involved, the home country will likely find it advantageous to enter into multilateral, multi trading relations with a number of countries. For example here, United States has deficit with Japan, okay? Because import so much of semiconductors. Deficit in trade with Japan, but surplus with OPEC. That's how you deficit here, you surplus here. That's how you pay your imports and your export, You get surplus here. Japan also, deficit, import of oil from OPEC, but no problem. Japan, surplus, exporting semiconductors to United States, see? Now, exit barriers. China resources from use of low productivity to those of high productivity. So, competition is high cost plants exit. That's why I mentioned to you, those companies are losing. Which one? The high cost plants are closing because high cost, opportunity cost. Low cost plants operate in the long run. Restructuring of inefficient companies, long time, cling to capacity, existence of exit barriers. So various cost conditions may make lengthy exit a rational response to companies, hinder the market adjustment. So we're talking about there is exit barriers. In reality, there's exit barriers. So it's going to take a long time, cling to capacity for so long that they can cling to. And finally, they cannot cling to that anymore. They have to shut, close, gulung tikar. So empirical evidence of comparative advantage. Ricardian model nations export goods. Their labor productivity is relatively high. Now, we're going to test, number of tests. It's not that we're going to test. Testing on Ricardian model, whether it's valid or not. And I have video on this. You can watch my video, YouTube video. I'm going to ask questions there. So I'm still holding maybe this week or next week the interactions. So because I want to make sure that you learn so much in the basics. Only then I can ask you the interactions. So, and also, we discuss after this. So McDougall, patents of 25 separate industries in the United States 1937 data, 20 industries fit the predicted pattern, which is the pattern should be United States export capital-intensive products. That's the pattern, predicted pattern, based on comparative advantage. United States would export capital-intensive products. That fits for 20 industry. Balassa and Stern also supported Ricardian's model. Balassa, I don't want to add to you, but Balassa has a nice theory. Stages of comparative advantage. Stages, a ladder. Tangga, ladder. A country start with a comparative advantage in labor-intensive industry, move less labor, move to capital, move to high-tech. That's a ladder, tangga. That's Balassa. You're not responsible because nothing there. I'm just adding for your knowledge. So, Golub, relative unit labor cost and trade for United States, United Kingdom, Japan, Germany, Canada, Australia. Relative unit labor cost helps to explain trade patterns of this nation. So, the test Ricardian model, yes, we can use valid based on labor cost, which is labor cost in the United States much higher. However, there's limitations of Ricardian model. Labor is not the only factor of input. There's capital, there's technology, and there are other factors. What are other factors? Location. Pay attention to me, okay? Location, Singapore. Singapore would not be Singapore today if not because of location. If Thailand cut the land to make a canal, no Singapore today. Just like no Sabah without Gunung Kinabalu. If there's no Gunung Kinabalu, no Sabah. Don't get angry with me. I'm just telling you the theory, okay? Meaning that people will not go to Sabah to see, mountains. And people will not go to Singapore to use the ports if Thailand cut it. Because all the ships will go through that canal. And Singapore will not be, Singapore will be just like Kota Baru today. Again, don't get angry with me. I'm not putting down Kota Baru, okay? Just happened. Kodiang. Don't get angry with me, okay? I can say any place, right? With no intention or bad intention. I'm just trying to deliver to you the theory. That's labor, not the only factor of input, production and distribution costs, differences in product quality as well. That gives the limitation for Ricardian model. What is Ricardian model? Yeah, good question. What is Ricardian model? Country specializes based on opportunity cost. Country specializes based on comparative advantage, which is determined by opportunity cost, which is determined by labor production cost, which is determined by labor efficiency. So, figure displays a scatter plot of United States, Japan export data for 33 industries. It shows that a clear negative correlation between relative export and relative unit labor cost. A rightward movement along the figures indicates a rise in US unit labor cost relative to Japanese. This correlates with a decline in US export relative to Japanese export, a downward movement along the figure's vertical axis. So this is clearly, what do you call this? To prove Ricardian model based on labor cost. However, labor is not the only factor. So comparative advantage, does comparative advantage apply in the face of job outsourcing? We can, if resources can move to wherever they are most productive. Relatively few nations with abundant cheap labor no longer share gains. Some nations will win and lose. You must remember, assumption of Ricardian model is what? Ricardian model, labor can only move within the same country, either industry X or industry Y, with the same country, within, not outside. Labor cannot move from Malaysia to Indonesia. Indonesia's labor cannot move to Malaysia. That's the assumption. Labor can move only from Penang to Johor Bahru, Kota Baru, Koh Diang, Gua Musang, Padang Serai, Tioman, can move anywhere in the country, but not outside of the country. So no intention, okay, I'm just to catch your attention only. No intention whatever, political, when I mentioned those two, Padang Serai, Tioman, no intention whatsoever. Just to catch your attention. So, can only move within, but cannot move to Indonesia. Labor from Korea cannot move to Malaysia. Labor in Korea can only move from Seoul to Busan, Changwon, anywhere. Within Korea only. Do you understand now? That's the assumption of Ricardo. Smith and Ricardo, both. So, weaken. That Ricardian model weaken if you make the assumption can move outside of the country. Do you understand now? Advantages of outsourcing reduced costs and competitiveness, new export, repatriated earnings, job losses tend to be temporary. However, the creation of new industries and new products, more lucrative jobs for Americans. So we're talking about, despite all this Ricardian model, outsourcing is good because that will help American companies to focus on what they can produce the most efficient. What is not efficient, just outsource to Vietnam, to Bangladesh. You know what Bangladesh can produce the most efficient? Shirt, sweaters. If you go to America, you buy sweaters made in Bangladesh, because that's the cheapest to produce sweaters. So this so I'm not going to go through this because just example, right? Time, because time is so limited. Yeah. Yeah, that's the reality. Today, 70% of Ford with parts and components purchased from overseas. That's how you make Ford competitive. If America wants to produce everything in America, you cannot sell the car. So expensive, right? You understand now? Boeing. 3 Japanese firms design, manufacturing, Boeing finally assembled in 3 days. Italy, China, part of the component. This is in 14th edition. You're not going to see this in 17th edition. So, done, finished. Any question? You know why I'm signing the relief? Because there is so much for me to cover. We have to gonna have to do online to cover the days that we missed for the holidays and everything. So now chapter 3. So take a break for 5 minutes. Make sure you come quickly after 5 minutes. Bring your food inside because we must continue. Okay? Now, go for break. continue with 14th edition because 14th edition has graphs that 17th edition does not have. So, now, what are the sources of comparative advantage? Factor endowment. And this is Hackshaw-Ohlin. And we continue with winner and losers from trade, Stopper-Samuelson. What if there is increasing return? What if? So we're away from comparative advantage per se. Suppose two countries have the same comparative advantage, meaning that no comparative advantage has the same meaning, no comparative advantage. So what happened? So that there is another that could be a factor, which is increasing to scale. Intra-industry trade, product cycle theory, government and patterns of trade, transportation cost and trade. So now, the first one. And this is the one that I mentioned to you. 1, 2, 3. Number one is factor endowment. I say resource endowment, same. Factor endowment. Factor endowment, okay? So this is Hackshaw-Ohlin, the two people, the Hackshaw and Ohlin, Swedish economists. Ohlin is I don't know, differences between free trade relative product prices of trading nations. Prices depend on the production possibilities frontier or curve and taste and preference, demand condition in the trading countries, assumption, technology, ceteris paribus. Assumption of ceteris paribus, everything is the same. Technology the same. Demand the same between countries. So production curves depend only on technology and or resource endowments. So resource endowment. So we just focus on resource endowment, okay? So factor endowment theory, resource endowment ratio, capital labor ratio. So that when I mentioned to you United States has more capital, we're talking about capital to labor ratio, the ratio. United States has K per L, which is large. K per L. That determines comparative advantage. That, which one? Here. If we assume X capital intensive, we must just make assumption, that's all. If we assume X, so United States must specialized in X, which is capital intensive. So a country exports or specializes in a good that uses a large amount of its relative abundant resources. United States has capital. United States will specialize and exports product which will consume the factor that it has so abundantly available in the country, which is capital. And will not specialize in the production that uses the factor that that country, United States, does not have the factor abundantly. Very simple and logical. If United States has lots of capital, United States should specialize in products that will use capital, a lot of capital. Do you understand now? If China has lots of labor, China should specialize in production of products that will use many labor. A country imports the others, oppositely. On the other hand, will import that, that uses relatively scarce resources. Ultimate determinants of competitive advantage are technology, resource endowments, and demand. So producing aircraft and textile, factor endowments in the United States, capital, labor, United States to produce what? Aircraft and textile. This is the endowment, okay? 100 machines, 200 workers, China 20 machines. It says that United States has a lot of capital. KL, that one there, K per L in United States is bigger than K per L in China. Do you follow me? So the effect of resource endowments on competitive advantage, differences in relative resource endowments, the difference between this, shown in the graph here, affects the difference in relative resource prices and lead to differences in relative product prices, and that leads to the pattern of comparative advantage, which is United States export jets, aircraft, China export textile. That's the pattern of trade based on the story here. Textile and aircraft. So this is K per L. Japan is very high. France is also high. United States, this K per L. And this is because 2004. China, India, look at India, very low K per L. Cameroon, low. Malaysia, 47. Yeah, not bad, but much lower than in South Korea. K per L. Two countries, China and United States. China, labor abundant country, labor relatively cheap, produces and export labor, intensive goods, textile in which it has comparative advantage. The state capital, so abundant, so export capital, this is good, which is aircraft. That's according to comparative advantage. And this is the graph. So, the graph that we always draw, two graphs, two countries, we can put overlap on one another. Do you understand now? That's overlap. So, this is US production possibilities frontier, US. And this is China. See? Our French, raison d'être. Reason why? Our French is not here. The reason for existence, the reasons for something, the reason for trade is this. The different shape of the production possibilities frontier. Do you follow me? The reason for trading is this. The shape like this different from the shape of another country. That makes them to want to trade. So this is before trade on the left, on the right after trade or with trade. So starting point A, 7, 6, United States. China also same, 7, 6. Same starting point A, overlap the two graphs, two countries. So we know United States capital intensive, K per L is bigger. So must specialize in capital intensive products, which is aircraft. So specialize here. More of aircraft, reduce production of textile. China opposite. So now this is we trade. Oh yeah, before that, that's 033 US MRT. China MRT 4. That shows high opportunity cost in China to produce aircraft. MRT is bigger. So now trading. United States will move to this point. Again, the concept, okay, the concept again must be on the PPF, okay? Must be on the PPF. And once you get this point, you can draw the red line. Once you must be on this PPF, okay? Must be. Cannot inside, cannot outside. Yeah, clear what I mean. Must be on it to be more optimal, to be the most optimum. And then you can, once you get that B, which is the B prime here, you can draw the red line. China also the same. It doesn't happen United States first, China after that. No, it automatically together at the same time. Do you understand? But I cannot draw. I'm left-handed, I cannot draw same time. I'm trying to draw at the same time, okay? A drama. I make a drama. Happen same time. But I only one red pen, so I cannot do the drama. Yes, that one. That's the red line. Once you get this is wrong, I go inside. No, I cannot go inside. It's always kissing. Outside. Yeah. So once you get that, you can choose the C. C is on the. That's easy. Now you understand now? So now, with the trading, United States produce 15. Consume only 9, which is 6 export to To China. To China. 6. Yeah. Same. Now, United States produce only 1 textile but consume 7. So 6 is imported from China. So this is the trade triangle connecting export and import and TOT. And for China, specializes in the production of textile. B is the production specialization with trade. So consume only C, consume C. So produce 13 textile, but consume only 7 textile. So 6 is the export of textile to United States. Also, Canada, did I say Canada? China. Or pen, yeah. But doesn't have that thing, only the pen, right? Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. For China, produces 13 but consume only 7. So how many? 6 is exported to United States. So this is trade triangle for China. So we finish for that one. So you notice that this terms of trade now becomes 1-to-1. It means that the price of aircraft relative to the price of textile or price of textile relative to the price of aircraft is going to be the same all over the world. In the United States, in China, in Malaysia, in Korea, Burkina Faso, in Chile, in Argentina, in Morocco, in Qatar, anywhere will be the same. The relative price, which is governed by this TOT, terms of trade, 1-to-1. Previously, it was before trade, very expensive in China, cheaper in United States for aircraft. So, a country exports goods whose production is intensive in its relatively abundant factor, which is capital in the United States, labor in China. It imports the goods whose production is intensive in relatively scarce resources or factors. So, U.S. export to China, computers, agriculture, others. U.S. imports from China, electronics. Mostly, high tech from United States. And now we come to a next topic. Very important topic, subtopic. Factor price equalization. Factor price equalization theory. Any question before we move? What it does, international trade is, it is good. Free trade is good because it redirects demand away from the scarce resource toward the abundant resource in the nation. The demand shifted away from that. In the United States, not many labor. So the demand will shift from those demanding labor-intensive products to capital-intensive products, which the country, United States, has a lot of capital. And that's good for the United States. Same thing, on the other hand, the demand in China moves away from demanding labor-intensive products to products, from capital-intensive products to demand the goods which is more labor-intensive products. Because China has a lot of labor, can produce cheaper labor-intensive products. You understand now? So trade leads to factor, and this is, you're going to see a magic here. The cheap resource becomes relatively more expensive. The expensive resource becomes relatively less expensive. Eventually, price equalization occurs. How that happens? Textile. Aircraft, textile. So more production of aircraft. The demand for K, demand for okay. But we begin with this. It says that in United States, KI is low in USA. Wages is high in the USA. In China, I is interest rate high. Wages is low. So where is it? Cheap. The cheap resource becomes relatively more expensive. How? We have to begin from here. To understand this, begin from here. We begin with United States, lots of capital. When there's a lot of capital, interest rate is low. Do you follow me? That country has lots of capital, so interest rate is low. Whereas United States, very few labor. Very few labor. Again, marriage theory is the same. So many ladies in that country, but only few men. The men can belaga. Oh, can jual mahal. Same, right? Same theory. Here. So very few men in the United States. So that's why wages is high in the States. So few labor, relatively. You understand now? On the other hand, China has a lot of labor. That's why wages is low in China to begin with. And China has very little capital. Interest rate is high. You understand now? Now, with trade, that's going to change. Interest rate will go up in China. Wages will go down in China. Did I say China? United States. See, not, That's why, what do you order? I want to order apple juice. And then came apple juice. No, I didn't order apple juice. I said orange juice. Sometimes happen to me. So this, United States, because of trade, this is what we're going to study. Factor price equalization. Interest rate will increase because of trade. Wages will go down because of trade in United States. On the other hand, in China, interest rate will go down because of trade. Wages will go up because of trade. And this is because of this. So, suppose this is starting point. So, China will specialize in, let's say will specialize here. So more production of aircraft. More production of aircraft. Aircraft production. All goods, whether aircraft or textile, in China, here. Textile. Increase production of textile. Doesn't matter, textile or aircraft, both goods, all goods must use more resources. More resources here. The demand for both resources, capital and labor, demand for capital and labor increase. But which one increase by more? And this is it. This is the reason for price of factor equalization. For United States, can you all see this? Because it's hidden by this. Is it hidden? Okay. Increase in the production of aircraft. It means that the demand for capital is very much, a lot. But demand for labor also increase. But not by much. So demand of capital means that wages will go, I will increase. Capital, I will increase. Demand for labor increase. Wages increase, but little. This one, a lot. That's aircraft. At the same time, there's also reduction of production of textile. So, textile down production. So, the demand for capital will decrease. Demand for labor will decrease a lot. Do you follow me? In China, increase in textile increase production. Demand for capital increase but little. But demand for labor, because textile is labor intensive, a lot. At the same time, there's a decrease in aircraft decrease. Aircraft decrease in production. So demand for capital decrease a lot. Demand for labor decreased but by little. But the total, we're going to see the whole thing, we're going to see this. Increase in wages, decrease. This is USA. China, I, not L, interest rate. This wages decrease, yes. Wages increase, decrease. This is the final output, final outcome. Do you follow me? What we began? Yeah, we began. Here, make it here. USA, wages go down. Yes. Wages was high, interest rate will go up. So wages in China was, so let's do with the starting point. USA, China. Wages was high. Interest rate was low. China, wages was low. Interest rate was high. So now the outcome. So in China, so let's go back. United States, wages was high, now low. Interest rate was low, now high. China, wages was low, now wages increase. China, wages, interest rate was high, and now low. That's how equalization occurs. Okay? Because of that. So I have a drama for that. So the trade leads to factor equalization. The cheap resource becomes relatively more expensive. Yes. The cheap resource before interest rate was low. Cheap resource in the United States now becomes more expensive. Cheap resource in China, which has a lot of China, you say K per L, China, USA. Do you understand now? China, cheap resource at that time was wages, labor. Labor now becomes more expensive, wages. So, labor, wages. Capital, interest rate. You have to understand that. Wages is represented by labor, wages. Capital represented by interest rate. The expensive resource becomes relatively less expensive on the other hand. So eventually price equalization occurs. What price? Factor price. What price? Factor price. Because next is very important. Which one? Egg or telur? Egg or no intention? No intention, no nothing. I just happened. Egg or chicken? Which one? Is it the price of factors or the price of goods? We're going to study here. It's the price of factors. So over time, factor price equalizes across nation. Over time, wages rates increase in China. 2000 Chinese workers earn. China pool will peak in 2015. Therefore, wages will rise in China. It's wages increase. China import more goods. Reverse happens in U.S. This is the latest, okay? This is the latest. The latest is that China, listen to me, China has become more and more labor cost expensive country. In the past, China cheap in labor, but today no more. More expensive in labor. So that's going to shift the comparative advantage soon. And there is reverse happened there. That's what. This happened in 2015 already. That change, that turn, U-turn in China. Yeah. Factor price, equalization theory. The one that I draw is actually there. Aircraft, more capital, trade promote factor price moving toward equality across nations. And this is factor equalization. Before trade in China, before trade in United States, and this is because of trade. Price of capital meet there, equalizes. Equalizes through what? Through this. Equalizes through what? Through this. Do you follow me? So that's factor, this is labor. So that's capital, this labor. So by forcing prices to equality, international trade tends to force factor prices into equality across countries. Factor price, okay? We're talking about factor price. So real world, no full factor price equalization, uneven ownership of human capital because of that, education, training, skill, and the like because of that. Not all countries use the same technology, new and better. Oh, remember this one? Our study does not cover technology, taste. Only cover the resource endowment, actually only. Next class will cover, but I can tell you quickly, okay? Because I'm not happy, because I'm skipping. You know, the Hexaolin only this one, factor. What happened? This, like this, take taste. Ceteris paribus. Assume the two countries, USA and China, has the same resource endowment, same. So this shape emerged because of taste. It says that this is a K-pop. Okay, this, suppose Korea and Malaysia, same endowment, same amount of labor, same amount of capital. So if you draw this, will be the same. Okay, but this emerged because of taste. So I'm explaining taste. Malaysians really gila K-pop. You understand gila K-pop? Very interested in K-pop. So that's why the shape is like this. But Korean like so much of durian. That's why. So that's why they trade. You understand now? Because of taste. Next one is because of technology. Korea has a lot of technology to produce K-pop contents and everything. Malaysia has a lot of technology to produce durian. And that happens. Ceteris paribus, no taste. Taste the same, endowment the same, only technology. You must assume that, okay? Ceteris paribus. So enough. You're not responsible because that even our slide, we don't have it. And now I'm happy that I cover very quickly. Now let's go. You know why? When we're talking about real world, okay? And even so, not all countries using technology, new and better technology, old technology, faster transportation costs and trade barriers reduce the volume of the trade. In reality, transportation costs, we assume no transportation costs, but reality there is transportation costs. So this manufacturing. Next, we had a drama. So Stopper-Samuelson theorem, extension of factor price equalization theory, an increase in the price of goods, export, increase the income earned by resources that are used intensively in production. Decrease in the production of price of goods, which is import. You import the, become cheaper, right? So reduces the income to the resources that uses the less intensive. That's why some are happy. Yes, this explains, why with free trade, some people, some industries, some bosses are happy, some bosses are not happy. The happy ones will be this one, the top one. Oh. That are used intensely, happy. This is the income that uses less intensely, not happy. And they will have problem and they should gulung tikar, close their business. Some will suffer, yes, some will suffer losses from free trade, while some will gain. Some are not happy, some will be happy because of the trade, free trade. And that should be, because you don't follow Shaolin. We must follow Shaolin. Follow the teaching. Policy implications. Although free trade may provide overall gains for the country, there are winners and losers. Honest and relatively abundant resources free favor free trade. Honest or relatively scarce resources will go to the street. We don't want free trade. We don't want free trade. And that is very popular in Korea in 1980s. Every day in Korea, on the street, we want to protect our industries, but they are very rare. Like last week, drivers, truck drivers, but they were forced by the government to go back. But in the past, that's the Korean style. On the street, demand for protection, laborers, anyway, anyone. So, I have a drama for this. So we finish, maybe we can have a drama. This factor price equalization, I'm not happy with this because oh yeah, same. Doesn't have it. So this drama, for you to understand this one, this guy, Mom, I want to go to Singapore to work, because they say, is it coming out next slide or not? No, not in that next slide. So now I'm making a drama of Stopper Samuelson. This guy in Kodiang, Mom, I want to go to Singapore because I will get higher salary in Singapore. Son, you don't have to go to Singapore. You can just work in Kodiang. You can sleep next to me. I mean, under Ketiak. Very manja. Son, you don't have to go because, son, I learned from Stopper Samuelson. Stopper Samuelson. Stopper Samuelson. I learned, son, that wages will increase in Kodiang because of trade. Well, wages will become the same whether you work in Kodiang, you work in Alostar, you work in Kota Baru, you work in Gua Musang, you work in New York City, you work in Seoul, you work in Singapore, anywhere in the world, wages will be the same. Because I learned, mother says, I learned from Stopper Samuelson. Mother graduate from, economics department. So we're talking about this. Wages, country A, that's the one I'm talking about. That's the drama number one. You follow me? Another son, another daughter. Mom, I want to invest my money in New York Stock Exchange. Son again. Son, I learned from Stopper Samuelson. You don't have to bring your money to New York or Hong Kong or Singapore, anywhere. You just invest here in Kodiang. Invest here in Kuala Lumpur. Because I learned from Stopper Samuelson, that interest rate will be the same all over the world. I country B, I in the world will be the same. In fact, the mother continue. Do you follow me? This is absolute term. Absolute term. The mother continue. I also learned, son, relative term also will be the same. True. W per A, I per A equals WB per IB, W of the world relative to I in the world will be the same. Do you follow me now? With the drama from Kodiang. In fact, I never been there. I heard the name Kodiang. To me, Kodiang, maybe rural area. Sorry, don't get angry with me. I'm just make it easy for you to understand. I can use Gua Musang. I can use, very remote, Baram, July. I can use remote, Ranau. See, finish with drama. Do you understand now? Yes. Son, you don't need to bring your money to New York Stock Exchange. Just invest in Kodiang, our stock market, your brother's company, security company. Just invest with him. Because I learned from Stopper Samuelson, interest rate will be the same all over the world, whether absolute or relative terms. So now, so you miss my drama, okay? trade substitute for migration. Immigrants help the economy grow, increasing the size of the labor force, fill low-skilled jobs with few native-born. Americans are willing and available to work, bring jobs that contribute to the United States as a leader in technology innovation. Yes. Trade, it is similar to immigration. We assume no immigration. This is the robustness, the magic of trade. Follow me, listen to me. The magic of trade. Assume no trade. Assume no, wow, that's too extreme. Well, I want to go to the extreme. No trade. Two countries still benefit from migration. So this migration will be identical effect, will have an identical effect of our trade. Suppose no trading, well, that's extreme. I want to step back from the extreme. There's a trade. Now, the migration is allowed. We have been assuming no migration, okay? Can move only within the country. Now, there's migration, so that help the economy grow, increasing the size of the labor force, fill the low-skilled jobs with which few native-born Americans are willing and available to work. Previously, no Americans are willing, so brings jobs that contribute to the States as a leader in technological innovation. So substitute for the movement of resources of one country to another. Yes, this is the one I want to emphasize. Free trade is a substitute for the movement of resources from one country to another. International movements in resources are not essential. International trade in products can achieve the same result. And this is the one. That's why when I mentioned 2 times, I step back. I feel not comfortable with what I said. No trade. There must be trade. So trade, what trade does is that trade substitute that migration. No need migration. Trade will get the same result of the migration that we explained earlier. So international movement resources are not essential anymore because we have trade. International trade is in products that can achieve the same result if you want to achieve the same result. Because we assume no migration. We can assume migration and trade. That's even more beneficial. Because Malaysia can, focus on capital and technological intensive, while the laborers from other countries move here, work in labor intensive, and that will help in the long term, the theory says. But reality, we're stuck. Malaysia is stuck in the labor intensive industries because continue to use laborers, whereas Malaysia should move. So in a way, I want to maintain that with a slide that international movements in resources are not essential. This is the robust theory or the extreme theory of international trade, that you can achieve good result with international trade. Theory, okay? Reality is different. So international trade in products can achieve the same result. Complement labor migration, short and near terms, short and near long terms. Expanding trade, some unemployed workers forced to seek employment abroad. So that trade complements labor migrations, short and near long terms, expanding trade. Some unemployed workers will be forced to seek employment abroad. So again, trade makes it possible because of trade. Movement of capital, movement of labor alone does not achieve complete result. Must be free trade. So we want to maintain that one. Free trade is what? Free trade is good. Now we're going to have a heavy subtopic, specific factors theory. So we finish with factor price equalization. The slide does not mention one thing. that we're going to see through here, through this topic, which this one. So we're going to have to go with this. What call it? I don't get the word. It doesn't come to me, the word. There's something there. It doesn't come to my mind. With large effect, something. Okay? So this is the theory, factor price equalization. Comparative advantage leads to trade. Trade leads to factor price equalization. Factor. So I'm trying to explain to you which one, chicken or egg first. Is it factor or product? It is factor price. Factor price equalization leads to product price equalization, because many of my students would think, look at here. Here. Very important. Not in the slide, but in the textbook. The slide does not have it. Textbook has it. This is wrong. People think this one, product price, equalize. You know, we've been studying product price because of this. The red one, red color. Red color, this is red color. You know, USA and China, remember the red color, which is the TOT, same price, right? This is what price? Product prices become equal. Do you follow me? You think this way, product price leads to factor price. No, wrong. It is factor price equalization leads to product price. This one is true. It is the factor price that equalize factor price. Let me repeat. Factor price, factor price leads to prices of goods, products equalized. Not equalization of products price leads to factor price. No, the other way. Factor price equalization leads to product price. Factor price leads to this one. product price equalize. You follow me now? Which one is factor price? There. The whole thing here. What time? Oh, finish. And with magnification effect. Now I got it. So, you know, magnification effect. Here, the factor price is factor price increase by more, product price increase by little in a country. If factor price price, yeah, product price, yeah, on the right. Factor price increase by more, product price increase less. Factor price, if decrease a lot, product price decrease by little only. So this is the magnification effect. Magnification effect. It says that not only, so now finish. Stoppel Samuelson with my drama, everything, explain to me, to you, that the son who's going to work in Singapore, no need to go to Singapore, just work here in Koh Diang, will be happy because the wages for him go up a lot. You know, compared with the increase in the the product that he to import is cheaper. If it's import car, cheaper. But the impact of this in the country, so I cannot use the drama of Koh Diang because a country, not individual, okay? The increase in the country, if this is same country, okay? Increase in product price of aircraft. This is aircraft. This is a textile. The owner of this is a product of aircraft increase, okay? But the owner of the factor that goes into aircraft, who? The owner of capital. The owner of capital very happy. Aircraft increase. What? Happy. Because aircraft increase, United States previously was cheaper. Export, get higher price. Export. But even more happy. The owner of the product, the capital, factor that goes into aircraft, which is capital, the owner will be happy. Because increase a lot. The price of factor increase more than the price of the product itself. That's the factor price equalization theory with magnification effect. Okay, finish with that. Thank you very much. 감사합니다. Off. Thank you.